This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, it's The Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey personality, #1 best-selling author of the book, Own Your Past, Change Your Future, is my co-host today as we answer questions for folks about building wealth, doing work that they love, and having actual amazing relationships. Open phones here at 888-825-5225. That's 888-825-5225. Ephraim is with us in Atlanta to start off this hour. Hey, Ephraim, what's up?
Hey, Dave. First off, what you've done for me and my wife and our family has just been incredible. We've listened to you, we've read your books, and you've just been life-saving. So thank you for that.
Well, thank you. Actually, you did it. I just told you what to do. How can I help?
Well, so I've been married for about 30 years to my incredible wife. We are living in the house that we raised our girls in. So we're at the point now where we're empty nesters. And, of course, like a lot of people have, a house that it's too big for our needs right now. So with the housing market being what it is, I threw out the idea to my wife to consider selling it. And her point was, well, if we sell high, we got to buy high. Well,
she's right about that.
I countered that with going into living in an apartment in an area that we love. It's a multi-use development with retail, with restaurants. We're there probably 3 or 4, if not 5 days a week, and we love it there. So I propose that we get an apartment there for a year or two, enjoy living there, and wait for the housing market to come down, and then be ready when that time comes to build a house or move into one or whatever options we want to move forward with, we can. But I think it's a lot of sentimental that she doesn't want to sell the house. But the rental is about $4,000 a month, which we could easily afford. And we would make probably close to $500,000 on the house net.
Okay.
So her ultimatum was, well, call Dave Ramsey and see what he has to say on it. So
I'm the tiebreaker.
Yes, you will.
I don't know if I can handle all this responsibility.
It's a lot of pressure, Ephraim.
I got a lot of pressure here. All right, so let's change a couple of the variables in the conversation. Okay.
Sure.
#1. I'll give you a 99% chance that the housing market is not going down.
Okay.
Okay. It has gone down 2 times in the last 100 years. In the 1930s and in 2008. It's the only time it's gone down.
Okay.
And then it snapped right back almost instantaneously in the 2008. Less than a year. Even the areas like, for instance, Las Vegas was the worst hit by the bubble burst. It was overbuilt. It was the fastest growing city in America, and it basically the bubble exploded there, and we saw values come down pretty substantially. And it was 18 months, and they were all back, and then it's gone nowhere but north since then. So I don't predict housing is going to go down at all in this round. Okay. I do think it's going to slow down its rate of increase, but that does defeat your premise, okay, as far as renting until then. So is there a property in the area you're talking about buying, a condo, for instance, that you guys could just buy and move into?
Well, we could.
Okay. Hypothetically, there is actual properties around the area you're talking about where you're not a renter.
Yes,
okay.
It's obviously very, very difficult to find it. You have to be ready to almost make a cash offer because it's not on the market long.
Okay. So if you could pull that off, it changes the discussion. I'm not going to tell you to go rent.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to lose that argument. So she wins. Okay.
Okay.
Because I think you're going to end up going in the hole with the rental amount, and values are going to increase, albeit not at the rate they're currently increasing. So you're gonna lose money two different ways by going to be a renter. I'm not opposed to you moving to that area and moving into a less expensive property and selling your property and buying high and selling high, which is her point. But buying high and later buying higher after having rented, no, I'm not doing that one.
Usually, and Dave, you and Sharon just did something similar. So y'all have lived this. Ephraim, normally I see couples have this conversation, and it's all about the house and the math. Yep. And this is a much bigger conversation, which is we're sliding into phase 3, right? We've had our time together, we've raised kids, and we're empty nesters, and we built a tremendous home together and a tremendous life together. The next phase is, what do we want this next season to look like? And that it will include discussions about home, where we live, and do we want to go to coffee shops and concerts? Do we want to be that couple? We want to move out to the country. But that's a broader conversation that, as a part of that conversation, will involve grieving the leaving the house that you raised your kids in. It's got a lot of cool memories in it. And it will.
Well, what are your thoughts about renting the house?
Renting it out to others?
It. Yes.
Why do you want out of it so bad?
Income. I'm just ready for a change. It's a 5,000 square foot home that just we live in the keeping room, kitchen, and bedroom.
Yeah. Okay. So I think that's the part y'all need to start talking about before we try to do a real estate deal. I'm with John. So the two of you need to get aligned on what the future picture is of your life and what the future picture is. Okay, it's a smaller, more efficient use of the square footage for you. For her, what is the future picture? And then what is the thing that we can do that has all of the future pictures in common?
Yeah.
Okay. And you know, you're going to give up some, like if you have 5 things I want, your bottom 2 you might not get in terms of forced ranking, and she has 5 things, she might not get her bottom 2. And that's kind of what Sharon and I just went through, honestly. We did a little bit of a similar discussion. We had this huge house, and it was a good time to get out of a huge house. And so it's kind of stage 2 empty nester for us. And it was a good opportunity to cash in. But we did immediately or simultaneously buy another property half the size that we moved into as a temporary measure until someday we build. But we had a lot of different goals with that we both aligned on the future. Now, the deal is, I think if the two of you will sit down, like John said, and start working on a future picture, let's paint the picture together, what 5 years from now looks like. All right, now what has to be true for us to get to that picture? Then you're going to start making moves that are going to cause you to sell this house, move downtown into a smaller condo as a temporary move, then later on build, or something like that. You're going to develop a game plan to end up at the same place.
And this can be a romantic, fun,
it's
exciting.
Sharon and I, the word we kept using over and over is, this is a pain in the butt, and it's an adventure.
There you go.
We're signing up for an adventure.
Yeah.
And, moving's a pain. Renovating a house when we moved in slightly was a pain with no workers available. Moving is a pain. Did I mention moving is a pain?
It's the worst.
Kind of like having a root canal, and, but it's an adventure because and those are the steps we took to get to where we wanted to be 5 years from today.
Life is full of firsts. As the first and longest-serving Christian health cost-sharing ministry, CHM has shared medical expenses for its members since 1981. We believe you should have the freedom to focus on your health while being supported by a community of believers, giving you the opportunity to create many more firsts.
Open phones this hour. as we talk about building wealth, doing work that you love, and creating actual amazing relationships. Dr. John Deloney is my co-host today. He is the #1 national bestseller of the new book, Own Your Past, Change Your Future, all about relationships and dealing with mental wellness. And so for regular people that are just trying to navigate this crazy world we live in right now. Open phones here at 888-825-5225. It is event week, guys. Orlando, we will be seeing you for a sold-out Building Wealth live event tomorrow night. May the 19th will be at Calvary, Orlando. Completely sold out, over 3,300 tickets sold. Thank you, guys. We appreciate you. And I can't wait. It's going to be an absolute blast. We're going to walk you through all the crazy stuff that's going on out there in the financial world. Like if you noticed your 401k turned into a 201k or something like that, then we're going to talk about it and the financial principles that we teach. And we're going to talk about all the, just address some of these issues head on and in a logical, wise way so you can leave with a game plan where you'll know what to do. Rachel Cruz, George Camel, and I will be doing that. Dr. John Deloney and Ken Coleman will join us. They'll be hosting a free bonus session about work and relationships to kick us off. You don't want to miss that. Those of you that have tickets, be sure and plan on getting there early. Look at that bonus early session. It's completely free, and you do want to be there for that. It's pretty incredible. Work and relationships are a big deal, both right now. Things are just tenuous out there. So this is us helping you guys on to the next level, right? Now, if Orlando completely sold out at 3,300 seats, and if Las Vegas almost did 2 weeks ago and was a complete rousing, rowdy, fun crowd, then you can know that Phoenix in September, Sacramento, Minneapolis, and San Antonio in November are going to be sold out because they're already over half sold out, all of them. Tickets are only $25. And you can get a 4-pack of tickets beginning at $60. Bring your friends, in other words. It's going to be absolutely amazing. John, I'm excited about this.
I can't wait, man. It's fun. We're going to be on the road for a week, and I can't wait to get out, man.
The Vegas crowd was really cool. The Orlando crowd is going to be cool. It's going to be great. We're going to be staying over because we start the Entree Leadership Summit starting on Sunday, and we'll have about 3,000 folks there as well, 2,750 or so business leaders from small business primarily all across America, and be doing about 4 days there with Jay Leno, Nick Saban, James Clear from Atomic Habits, our team, Dr. John and Ken Coleman and me will be speaking, and on and on. It just a lot of the lineup is absolutely incredible. Wait a minute,
Jocko, not James.
Jocko is next year.
Jocko's this year.
James Clear is coming 2023. Jocko is this year. That's right. I got it backwards. Yeah. And Henry Cloud will be there this year, and Pat Lencioni will be there this year. It's a world-class leadership event, one of the biggest events we do of the year, and looking forward to that in Orlando as well at the Grand Hyatt. And that, of course, is sold out as well, and it's usually sold out like 6 months in advance. So tickets will go on sale for 2023, which will be in Nashville for that event very soon. So really feels good to be out there moving around, seeing people again.
I loved it. And Vegas was such a great return because they came ready to party, man.
Yeah.
And it was loud, and so many people showed up. And by the way, this little bonus session, the numbers they told us the other day is they just finally quit counting. They just it's so full. So many people are coming, which is just great, man.
That's good.
People are ready to come on out and have a good time.
Yeah, the bonus session may be bigger. You never know.
Yeah.
It's possible. I love it. So it's just good times, folks. Those of you that have not have not begun your walk into the emotional healing from everything that we've been through, and you're still living with a lot of fear and hopelessness right now. I encourage you to get connected with people again, whether it's at some kind of an event like that. I don't want to scare you, but the rest of us are out here, and we feel really good about hanging out with other human beings.
Yeah, it's important. We need to be around people right now.
All right, Zach is going to be next up. He's in Philadelphia. Hey, Zach, welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hey, Dave, thanks for having me.
Sure. What's up?
So I'm looking at a career change, and I wanted to get your input on this, but it's going to cost me. I work in law enforcement, and I'm in my 8th year as a police officer. Looking to change careers, but kind of don't want to lose that pension. Our department offers a military buyback program where the time served in the military, you have the option to buy that time back towards your retirement. So my question for you is, I'm at 8 years. I can buy back 4 years to get the minimum pension, to secure the minimum pension, but it's going to cost me $85,000 to do this. Now, I have the $85,000 in my 457 plan, and I can roll this over to the buyback tax-free, no hit on it at all. So I was wondering if you think that is a good idea to do.
Okay, almost all the buybacks that I've ever done the numbers on involve getting more money as a result of having bought more years. Mm-hmm. And I are you saying if you don't do this, you get zero?
No, what I'm saying is that for the career change, I'm looking at changing careers,
I got that part. And you leave and you don't want to, you said, I don't want to lose my pension. But the truth is you're not going to lose your pension. You just want to enhance it with this $85,000.
No, I will lose it. So if I don't hit that minimum threshold of 12 years,
you get zero.
They will just cut me a check. Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. No. Stop. They will cut you a check
for my pension contributions that I've made. Correct.
So you just get your money back, no match, no growth or anything like that.
Correct. It's not nearly as much as the pension would be. The pension would be $33,000 for the rest of my life, or they'll cut me a check for like $25,000 one time for my contributions. So I have the money in my 457, and I can roll it over tax free.
So
no
once
hit on it at all.
Just so I just want to make sure I'm crystal clear. So once you hit 12 years,
you get $33,000.
You qualify for the minimum pension. They pay you every year for the rest of your life.
Starting now.
Correct. No, starting when I would have hit my 20th year. So I'd still have to wait 8 years to start collecting it.
Oh, dadgum, is complicated. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a complicated financial formula to figure out if it's smart. Okay.
Correct.
Because basically you got a $25,000 swing one way, plus the $85,000.
Correct.
All right.
Minus the 85.
Minus the $85,000. And then you got the 8-year wait, and you're not making. Listen, the pension is usually a horrible rate of return. It's usually around 5 or 6%. Okay. What are you going to go do?
Well, I just finished my 4-year degree, so I was looking at either going federal, and I also obtained my CDL last year as well. So,
what are you going to go do?
Drive truck, most likely.
What about going with the Fed?
Yeah, I mean, it's just a longer process. Until I would go drive truck until that process was complete. It can sometimes take 6, 12, 18 months.
Do you need out of law enforcement that bad? Are you just cooked?
Yeah, I mean, me and my family, we're just done with it.
Got to be done.
We're ready to move on from it.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's been a hard few years, man.
All right, I can't do it in my head, and I can't do it in 2 minutes on the air, even with a good calculator, probably.
Okay.
So, because the three variables are the horrible rate of return, the 8-year wait before you get anything, and then so what is $33,000 for the rest of your life worth beginning 8 years from now? And
4 years old, yeah.
And but I mean, what's that present value? The net present value of that versus $85,000 going in, minus the fact you would have gotten $25,000 in your pocket. I think it's going to work out where you take the $25,000 and you go on with your life. It's probably going to work out better for you. That's my guess. And you roll your 450, you roll your 457 over into an IRA.
If you just forget about the pension.
Yeah, and just forget about the pension, because I think the pensions. I think it's a trap. But I can't do the math in my head fast enough to guarantee you that. So jump on RamseySolutions.com, click on SmartVestor Pro, find someone that helps you do investing in your area. They'll run the math out for you and say this group of $33,000 is worth this in today's dollars, because it doesn't start for 8 years and it's based on 6%, and then you can back into it and figure it out. If you're looking for ways to update your home without blowing the budget, I've got it. For years, I've been telling you about our friends at Blinds.com. Blinds.com makes it simple to shop top quality blinds, shades, and interior shutters from home with easy online ordering and free shipping. With Blinds.com, there's no need to renovate your entire home. Just change out what's on your windows with upscale choices like faux wood blinds, cellular, and roller shades, or even outdoor shades. Plus, Blinds.com guarantees the perfect fit, whether you do it yourself or you have them measure and install everything for you. Shop their latest looks and see how much you can save at Blinds.com today. The easy and affordable way to make your home more beautiful is Blinds.com. Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey personality, author of the brand new #1 bestseller, Own Your Past, Change Your Future. Own Your Past, Change Your Future is my co-host. In the lobby of Ramsey Solutions on the debt-free stage, they're here. Donnie and Kiona are with us. Hey, guys, how are you?
Hey, doing well. How are you?
Welcome. Where do you guys live?
Moorhead, Minnesota.
Awesome. Welcome to Nashville. How much debt did you guys pay off?
$118,005.
Way to go. How long did that take?
35 months.
All right. And your range of income during that time?
We started at about $74,000, and our highest year was $102,000.
102. Good for you. What do you guys do for a living?
So I'm a certified athletic trainer.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a senior program coordinator for a nonprofit.
Oh, good. Cool. What kind of debt was your $118,000?
Oh, we had a little bit of everything. We had a majority of it was our student loans, about $80,000.
Mm-hmm.
We had a car loan, a credit card, a second mortgage, just the normal.
You were normal.
Yeah.
How long you been married?
We're coming up on 6 years? 7 years?
The confidence you have is astounding.
And it wasn't even me that wasn't confident.
Hey,
I'm glad it wasn't you that slipped up. That's all I'm saying.
all I know is, hey, how much debt? It's this much, and $5. How long you been married?
Round it out.
Close enough.
All right, so 6 years, give or take. And halfway through that 6 years, give or take, 35 months ago, you said, something's got to change. Tell me your story. What happened?
So we were 2 years into our marriage at that point. We just had our first. She was about 6 months old, and we recognized that our current lifestyle and financial situation was not sustainable when we added in childcare finances. So,
Ooh, ouch, the bite.
yes,
Yep.
the opportunity was presented to take FPU. I presented it to my husband. He said, I don't think we really need that.
Because we're doing so good.
Yeah, I
Right.
thought we were doing fine.
Everything's
you know?
fine. We can't pay the daycare bill, but
Yeah.
everything's fine.
Exactly.
So we took the course, and from that point, when we took the course, I was kind of nervous, but Donnie dove right into it.
I dove right in. I think I bought 4-year books right away, and
Oh, wow.
I read them all in probably a span of 2 weeks. And
Oh, my gosh.
we dove in.
So, Kiona, you're like, oh, my God, what have I created?
I thought he was going to make me sell our brand new car that we just bought, so I was a little nervous, but we didn't.
You didn't. You
No.
just paid it off.
Paid it off.
All right. That'll work, too.
Yep.
Good,
Yep.
good. Yeah, so when you went through the class, all you got was nerves?
And I was just ready. I said,
Game
let's
on.
go. Yep.
Game on. Okay. All right.
And you're a certified trainer?
Yep, athletic trainer, yep.
And so nothing is worse than you sitting down with an athlete and saying, here's what you need to do for the next 3 weeks. And they're like, sure, got it, coach. And they do none of it.
Exactly.
So you know the value of following a plan.
Yep.
And going all in. Good for you, man.
Yeah, that makes it easy. The correlation between the behavior change is almost identical. I mean, it's pretty incredible. So, well done, you guys.
Thank you.
Very, very fun. All right, outside the two of you, who were your biggest cheerleaders?
We were pretty low-key about telling a lot of people what we were doing. Obviously, our family knew what we were doing, and they
Financial peace
supported
class?
us. Yep, our financial peace class.
Yep.
One of Kiona's coworkers got us into that. I would say we had a lot more naysayers than true cheerleaders, but that just helped drive us even more. So
Yeah. What are they saying now?
They're like, oh, don't worry, you'll go back into debt at some point.
Oh yeah, they're going to go all the way.
I said, no.
Double down on stupid. Okay.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
What was the best marriage disagreement you had?
The best marriage disagreement. That's oxymoronic.
Yeah, very much so.
What was the biggest freaking fight you had?
That's a good question. I mean, once we got in, like, obviously our monthly budget meetings really impacted the way we communicated in our marriage.
Once she knew you weren't eyeing her car.
Yep, exactly. But no, I think honestly, it wasn't any big disagreement. Our communication got so much better once we started that we were able to truly talk like adults to each other.
What about personal sacrifice? What's the thing you were into? Are you into shoes or weight programs, or like, what were the things you were into that you gave up for the last?
I think it was just that instant gratification. Like I loved shopping at the time, and so not going out and shopping and buying whatever I wanted, that was a little bit difficult. It took a lot of behavioral changes that impacted our finances, but the communication within our monthly budget and having to be able to say, like, yeah, I spent X amount of dollars at whatever store it was, and being open about that. I didn't want to disappoint, not that I would disappoint him, but I wanted to honor the sacrifices that we were making together and being respectful of that so that we could have those conversations. I think that really...
It's incredible.
That's good words.
Fantastic.
Honor, respect. Yeah, that's good words.
Yeah, I would say my biggest one was I like to go out and have a good time with my friends, and there's just a lot of times where I had to say no, or we had to change our plans to just hang out at the house and grill or something like that. So I think the biggest change actually was when the pandemic started. Kiona started cutting my hair, so didn't have to spend $30
a month. I wasn't
a month.
anything, man, but it looks great.
It looks good, right? Yep.
We weren't going to bring it up, but yeah. No, it's awesome. You guys are fun. Well done. You feel powerful?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. That's for sure.
Feel like you're in control now, huh?
Yeah, absolutely.
Are your naysayers right? Will you ever go back?
Absolutely
No.
not.
I think one of the biggest things too, when we started our journey, we had a 6-month-old, and we had the goal to hit debt-free before she hit kindergarten, and she just turned 4 last month, or
you
earlier
guys crushed
this month.
it. Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah.
Mic drop. I
Yeah.
love it. Good for you guys.
Congrats.
So very well done. So very well done. See, they will not go back in debt because that would be disrespecting the sacrifice that they have made.
That's right. And it would make their knuckleheaded friends right. You can't let that happen.
Yeah, exactly.
This is true. That's a big enough motivation right there, just to not cave for you goobers. I love it. Way to go, you guys. We got a copy of Baby Steps Millionaires for you. We're so proud of you. Way to go.
Thank you.
And that's the next chapter in your story. It's #1 bestseller, How Ordinary People Built Extraordinary Wealth. How you will, too, in your case. A copy of Total Money Makeover for you to give away to one of those knuckleheads. Maybe you can get them started. And you might even use this. We've got the a 1-year subscription to Financial Peace University, which, of course, was a big part of your story. And the Every Dollar premium version of the app is part of that. It's the Ramsey Plus 1-year deal. We're going to give you a gift card for a whole year for that. You can either give that away or you can go back through it, whatever you want to do. But that gives you a chance to pay it forward and tell your story and maybe inspire some other people to change their lives.
Yeah.
So good for you guys. Very, very well done. All right, Donnie and Kiona, Fargo, North Dakota area, 100 and... That wasn't what you said. You didn't say Fargo, North Dakota, did you?
No, they're connected. Moorhead, Minnesota, and Fargo, North Dakota. They're connected by the river.
I thought you said Minnesota.
Yep.
Okay.
Moorhead, Minnesota.
All right. I knew I didn't hear Dakota. All right. $118,000 paid off in 35 months, making 74 to 102. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
3, 2, 1.
We're debt-free!
This is how it's done. These are interesting words. In his world of personal training, your world of therapy, where someone is called to engage a difficult truth and make a change about my physical habits, my money habits, my emotional, mental health, spiritual habits. In every case, honoring the sacrifice that's made, respecting, those are 2 great words. And one that kind of almost goes with that I hear, I had to submit myself to the plan, meaning I thought I had it all figured out, but here I sat broke, so I must not, so I've got to submit myself. I've got to actually agree to do it which means I wasn't right.
Yeah, that I asked somebody one time, how do we move forward? And that was the answer is you got to look back and acknowledge I hurt people. When I said this or did this, I hurt myself. I dishonored myself. I'm not as smart as I thought I was, or all my schemes don't work. I got to submit to the plan that works.
I got to submit to something different than me.
Yes. And that's hard.
It's a little bit of the 12-step thing, admitting I'm powerless.
That's exactly what that is. It's taking a knee and saying, what I'm doing now, it's like that famous quote, is this making your life better? And you got to look in the mirror and go, it's not.
Continuing to do the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result.
That's right.
The definition of insanity.
That's right.
Yeah.
Good for these guys.
They're a sharp couple. Very sharp. This is The Ramsey Show. Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Michelle is with us in Atlanta. Hi, Michelle. Welcome to The Ramsey Show.
Hello. How are you?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
Well, I'm calling to ask a question today. I want to know what is the best way to tackle a debt as a single mother of an 18-year-old starting college in the fall and an annual income of $24,000 to $26,000 and a total debt of $56,406.
Wow. What's the $56,000 on?
That's student loans, car total, and a loan.
How much is the car?
The car is $15,000 now.
Okay. All right. Wow. Well, you've been fighting this battle a long time, hadn't you, kiddo?
I have.
Yeah. Did you raise that kid his whole life by yourself?
I have.
You're a princess warrior.
Yeah, you're a rock star.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
So I'll give you some mathematical observations, and then we have to convert those to real life, okay?
Okay.
Mathematical observation number one is, if I woke up in your shoes, I would be looking for what my next new career is because your income sucks.
Right.
That's not a shaming thing. I think you're probably worth more than you're getting paid, especially if you went and did something else. That's a not nice way of saying you don't make enough money. Okay. Hard to make it on $25,000.
Yes.
Out there in today's world. Okay. What do you do?
I'm a dialysis technician.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. So what could you do to gear up some further certifications maybe in the medical field that would increase your income almost immediately? Any ideas?
Immediately?
I mean, like if you took a 6-month class at night, by Christmas you'd be making double or something? I mean, is there stuff like that out there?
I mean, there is certifications in the healthcare field like medical billing and coding, which I'm into.
No, I'm talking about like moving up in what you do is a hands-on. You assist in a medical procedure today.
Yes.
And if you were assisting in a different medical procedure or further in depth with that procedure and made more, I'd be happy with that. If you like doing what you're doing, that is. And I got a feeling you've been doing it a while.
2 years.
And a lot of hospitals have, go back and get your bachelor's and we'll pay for it, but you owe us 2 years afterwards. Things like that you could possibly pursue here, right?
Yeah. Okay, so thing number one, mathematically, agree with me, we're going to work on our income because that's part of your equation. There's two parts to the equation, the income and the outgo. So if we get the income up, some of this starts to solve itself, doesn't it?
It does.
Like if you made 50,000 instead of 25,000, no kidding, right? You kind of already knew that before you called me.
I did.
But, my point is, I think you need to be actively saying, hey, 10 years from today, I want to be making 75,000, and here's the 5 steps I've got to do to get there. And doing whatever that is. I don't care. And it's something you like. Don't do something you hate. But I'm saying go make some more money. Number one. Number two, the longer you are in $25,000 income range, the more you have to look in the mirror and say, I can't afford a $15,000 car when I make $25,000 a year.
Yeah.
When you have items that are going down in value that you pay payments on, cars, anything with a motor or wheels, that are more than half your annual income, it makes it very difficult. In other words, your car is a big part of your problem as a percentage of your income.
Yes.
So if you made $75,000, I wouldn't be worried about a $15,000 car debt. We just knock it out. But at 25, that's some pretty heavy lifting. I mean, you got a medium-sized hole and a small shovel. These are my math observations. Okay, so you can do the stuff we teach right where you are, but it's just going to be very hard because you just making month to month has been hard for a long time. That's why I called you a warrior princess. You've been fighting it. I know what your budget looks like. There's no room in your budget.
No.
Yeah. So we got to get your income up and your outgo down, and the more we do of each of those, the more money we find to throw at getting rid of the debt and then throw at building wealth so that you retire with dignity.
So can we go to part 3 now?
Okay.
You got a kid heading into college, right?
I do.
And for 18 years, you've scratched and clawed and said, this generational stuff stops with me, and my kid's going to have something better. Is that right?
Right.
Do not go sign a bunch of Parent Plus loans that you will never be able to pay back for some expensive school. Okay?
Okay.
The conversation that y'all need to have right now about going to school is, here's the financial reality of our world, and whatever state we happen to be in, here's what a community college looks like for 2 years. And hear me say, my mom went to community college and then went on to work at one of the biggest companies on the planet, then got a PhD and is now in her 70s still a professor. So anybody who bags on community college doesn't know what they're talking about. And you can do it for a fraction of the cost of a larger institution. I know this game because I worked in it for a long time, and they look at moms and dads and say they will mortgage their souls for this picture of what this kid's going to get. And I'm telling you, don't do that. We're breaking cycles here. You hear what I'm saying?
Yes.
I want your kid to go to school. If college is in y'all's future, I want him to go. I think college is great. But I want you to go to a school that y'all can afford to. He can work his way through community college for the first 2 years if it's not free in your community, in your state.
So if I load you up with a bunch of materials, will you use them and learn about getting out of debt and getting him into school debt-free?
I will use them. I will use them. I will use them.
Okay, because I'm going to load you up as my gift because I think you're a pretty impressive lady.
Amazing.
So,
Well, I think so.
So here I want to sign you up for Financial Peace University for a year, and it includes Every Dollar, the world's best budgeting app, to help you manage your money and learn about money like you've never done before. Okay, we're going to give you that. I'm going to send you a copy of Ken Coleman's book, From Paycheck to Purpose, about how to get a better career going for you. You got to read that. Okay, I'm also going to send you a copy of one of our small books called Debt Free Degree on how you can go to college debt free. And let me tell you, we've studied the student loan mess that's out there, and we've studied it, and we're really on top of it. And let me tell you a disturbing thing that we discovered. Regardless of race, regardless of income, the number one person that does unbelievably stupid stuff when they go to college is if their parents didn't go to college and didn't know the way to show them where the landmines were. And the parents instead go, oh, all college is wonderful because I wish I had gone in college. And they mortgage their soul and they sign them up at some expensive thing where they're paying 15 times what they should be paying for the same degree. And they study the wrong stupid thing, like get a degree in left-handed puppetry with a $250,000 worth of student loan debt from some stupid butt school that they should have never been in the first place. The number one person that does that is someone who didn't have parents in college. And it's not a shame on the parents that didn't go to college. They just don't know the ropes, and they don't know where all the landmines are, and the kid wanders through, and just landmines are going off everywhere, and they wake up at 30 years old, $200,000 in debt, but by God, they got a college degree, which is freaking worthless. Because, getting a degree in left-handed puppetry and medieval art is ridiculous, and you can't do squat with it. You end up being a barista. So that's what you've got to avoid here. All right, hang on. We're going to send you all that stuff, Michelle, and you call us back while you're walking all this out. We'll help you with the career. We'll help you with the money. We'll help you with the kid going to school. We'll help you with every bit of it. And we actually know how to do all of those things. You're amazing. This is The Ramsey Show.
Hey, it's John Deloney, co-host of The Ramsey Show. Did you know over 18 million people listen to The Ramsey Show every week? A lot of those people listen on one of our 600-plus radio stations across the country. To find a station near you, go to RamseySolutions.com/show.
This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, it's The Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host, Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey personality, author of the #1 best-selling book that just hit #1 the other day, Own Your Past, Change Your Future, a not-so-complicated process about relationships and mental wellness. Jump in, we'll talk to you. We help people build wealth, do work that they love, and create actual amazing relationships. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Colt is in Montgomery, Alabama. Hi, Colt. How are you?
I'm doing well, Dave. Thank you. How are you?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
Well, first I'll start out. I'm absolutely emotionally, mentally, in almost every way, fashion exhausted. Financially. I read your book in 2018 when I was on my last military deployment. I'm actually active military. I've been in 10 years now.
Thank you for your service.
That's mine. Thank you. I appreciate it. So read your book, got motivated, started following your steps, paid off almost $40,000 in debt in just the first 9 months of being on your plan. Then in 2019, I thought, well, I'm in a better position. I'm going to buy a fixer-upper house. I can do all the work myself. I'm blue-collar, old farm boy. Thought I could take care of it. Well, 4 months later, military dropped me orders, and I'm stuck with this house, and I'm like, I can't really rent it out in the status. So I made the dumb decision and panicked and put a whole lot of work into the house on credit cards. And the last 2 years, I've just been treading water. The tenants that I had in it for 2 years trashed it. So all the work I put into it pretty much was just undone. And then I had thought really passively last summer about selling it because the market's hot. But then I thought, no, I'm still not ready to part with it. It's an investment. I'll get a roommate that's a best friend from another state, move him, and he was happy to move in. And then we walked in the door and went, oh, my gosh, this house. So
no, I'm sorry. What's wrong with the house?
They were showering without a shower curtain. So the deal this week is the wall in the bathroom buckled inward. So I spent 2 weeks of PTO or leave. I completely gutted and raided the bathroom. Every blind in the house was gone, just the filth.
This is the roommate?
No. This is
was
their
not
renters.
the roommate. This was the tenants.
Oh, that's
These
when
are
you
the renters.
discovered the tenants. Okay, so then you panicked and you
Yes.
went on credit cards and you built it back, right? So what kind of
Well,
condition is it in today?
It's in a position where it still needs paint. Kitchen's still a mess, but I mean it's livable.
Mm-hmm.
But
What do you owe on it?
140.
And how much credit card debt did you run up?
35,000.
What would it sell for today as it sits?
Talked to a realtor the other day. She said probably around 230.
Sell it.
You would sell it?
There was nothing in your conversation with me that sounded fun so far. You suck at this real estate thing.
Yes.
Everything you've touched has turned to poop on this, man.
Yes.
Get rid of it.
And
There's nothing here fun.
I've been working in addition to school,
When
in
I
addition to
said
military.
that, you breathed better.
I know.
When I
'Cause
said sell
wanted
it,
to
you
hear
went,
from
thank
somebody else.
God.
Hey, and dude, listen, you and I could probably talk for an hour. You and me and Dave could talk for an hour. You got other stuff in your life going on, don't you?
Yes.
Way too much. And you're running 10 years on deployment return and deployment return. And I hear your voice is crackling. You're fried. Is that right?
Yep.
You
I am,
have to
especially
get,
after last week.
You've got to get some margin.
Yeah, you get some stuff off your plate.
Even if that means go live on base, go rent.
Yeah, fire yourself from anything you can to make your life simpler.
I really needed to hear that because that's what I told myself when I was driving home. I said, I've got to make my life more simple.
Calm. Like almost boring. You need some boredom.
Go talk to a counselor.
Yeah.
Go take up fishing. You got to find some people. Go hang out with some people that aren't in the mental.
Desperate enough to take up fishing.
Well, I was going to say golf, and then I thought, I love him. He loves our country, so I don't want to encourage golf. But hey, look, you got to get some friends. You have to. Your life has been living you for a decade, and it's been one of service and one of a lot of trauma and a lot of exhaustion.
And this real estate thing is just one more chapter.
Yeah.
Where it's riding you, you're not riding it.
So I'm not telling you to get out of the military. Keep doing what you're doing, but you got to create a life. Like, okay, now I got to crest this wave. Kind of like Dave is a great ski instructor, and when you first start skiing and you're sitting in the water and you come out and it's just blasting you in the face, eventually you can stand up and you crest and you get on top of that thing. Boats still going the same speed. Right. Everything's still going the same, except you're on top of it. That's what we're talking about, and that talks about you. That's you backing up and deciding I'm going to do some things in my life differently so I can be well.
What else can you fire yourself from?
Well, the second other job that I picked up on the side that I'm exhausted in washing campers up in the hot Alabama sun to try to bring in some extra cash.
You don't need extra cash. We just got rid of the house and put some money in your pocket.
You're debt free.
Yeah, that would be great.
Move on base, get a 1-bedroom apartment, just Control-Alt-Delete, man. Go to the gym, laugh.
Right.
Go play golf. God, don't play golf, but whatever. Right? Get some joy in your life, man. You've worked too hard and you've given too much of yourself to continue to run like this.
Go to the range and drop 1,000 rounds downrange. That's stress relieving.
Now we can both agree on that.
That's stress relieving. Okay, and the government will pay for it.
The only other question I have though is just my roommate just moved down. Best friend moved down just in February. I'm still trying to figure out how I
hand him a little bit of a check
that.
when his house sells. Hand him a little bit of a check.
Give him $5,000 and say, "Go get a place."
Give him. If you gave him $1,000 and said, "I'm sorry, I got to get out of this. This is killing me." The $1,000 is just to say, "I'm sorry." What would he say?
Okay. He would, as good of friends as we are, I think he would be perfectly fine with that. But it's still just the emotion. Like I feel like I failed him.
You didn't fail nobody.
So there's that's how I feel about it. Also, so there's that part of it.
Well, it's why you serve in the military. You're a man of honor. And so you're going to always have those feelings about things, and they're always going to be about 2x what reality is.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did fail him, but it ain't near as big as it feels like inside of you. In other words, no big deal, okay? If his life was all hooked up, he wouldn't have come.
Right.
It isn't like you disjointed some guy from his medical degree. He didn't have nothing to do anyway. That's why he lives in your house. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, it's okay. He's going to be all right. Yeah, give him $1,000 to say thank you or I'm sorry or whatever you want to call it, and call that honor, and it is honor. And help him some other way if you can without signing up for some extra job. Quit washing campers. go put 1,000 rounds downrange. Get yourself in a simplified life, boring life. And I'm going to send you a copy of John's book, Own Your Past, Change Your Future. You need to read this book. Hold on. You're going to love it. You're going to go, oh, there I am. This is The Ramsey Show. Look, I love real estate, and I want you to have a house, but I don't want a house to have you. That's why you need to get in touch with Churchill Mortgage to make sure you do this right. These guys are awesome. They'll help you get on a smarter mortgage plan because they're committed to doing what's right for you. That means they check in every year with free consultations to help you stay on the right plan. They show you how to save money and interest so you can build wealth faster. They walk you through the total cost of your loan so you can make the best choice. Basically, they care. That's why we call them Ramsey Trusted. You can achieve debt-free home ownership, and Churchill is here to help. Go to their site, churchillmortgage.com/Ramsey, to start your approval or get more information. Well, the housing market over the last couple of years has been unique, to say the least. Home prices have gone up like a rocket. Hungry buyers are pouncing on homes as they hit the market. And now there's a plot twist. The Fed has upped the ante and raised the Fed funds rate for the first time in 3 years. And that means we're seeing some tick up in mortgage rates. And that's got a lot of you worried about higher mortgage rates, and maybe even a recession might make buying and selling a home more difficult. So let's all just take a little breath. Turn off the news, click, get a little perspective. A whole lot goes into buying and selling a home. Market conditions and mortgage rates are part of it, but they don't drive the whole thing. Anytime you're looking to buy or sell a home, you need to do your homework. You need to get a pro in your corner who knows what they're doing. This is your largest asset. It is not amateur hour. So get a high-quality, high-octane real estate agent in your corner. And regardless of what's going on out there, you will do a better transaction as a buyer and certainly as a seller in this environment. So if you want to know about this, head on over to RamseySolutions.com/rates. We've got some good information there on what's happening with the rates and how that affects you. Go to RamseySolutions.com/agent, and you can talk to one of our endorsed local providers that are Ramsey trusted, and they'll help you navigate these stormy waters. Our question of the day comes from Blinds.com. They have a 100% satisfaction guarantee. That means even if you mismeasure, you pick the wrong color, they'll remake your blinds for free. Free samples, free shipping, new promos they run every month. You'll save even more. Use the promo code Ramsey to get the best deal.
All right, today's question comes from Jose in Brazil, and Jose writes, I currently earn $45,000 to $50,000 a year working for a law firm, and I have some clients on the side. I'm debt-free, I have a 12-month emergency fund, invest 20% of my income, and I live with my mother while I'm saving for a home down payment and to pay for a small wedding. I have trouble spending money on myself. I consider myself generous, but when it comes to spending money on me, I'm paralyzed. I desperately need a new computer, but I worry about things on the news shows, so I save my money instead. It's like I always find an excuse to not spend money. Now I'm anxious about taking on a mortgage when I get married. How can I get over this mental block? What do you think, Dave? I got all kind of feelings.
Turn off the news shows?
Ta-da!
There's one. Because they're skewing your view of the future. and they're just about all of them have turned into the National Enquirer. I mean, case in point, the leading news stories on all the major networks, which used to be credible, is UFOs. So, I mean, the National Enquirer has now invaded every one of them. Oh, man. So, I mean, seriously, we had a slow news day. Or if you were Biden and you wanted to throw something shiny out and cause people to look at it right quick, let's just have a testimony before Senate on UFOs. In case somebody would look at that instead of gas prices, you know. So, oh my gosh. So anyway.
So
get away from that crap.
I remember this person, not specifically, but from my days back working with law students. And it was a very common sentiment that I think we can all have some sort of, I can see that, which is a manic, powerful, I'm going to accomplish this so that I can get this, so that I can get this, so that when I get wherever it is I'm going, I'm finally going to go, And this guy got, and it doesn't exist. Because if you're not dealing with the underlying anxiety, which is this young man comes from a situation where there was a lack of safety. I can guarantee you this young man comes from a place where relationships were something that were done to him. They were not, there was not engagement there, I can guarantee you. And he is trying to solve that rattling that goes on inside his body with this and with this. And I'm going to double the emergency fund. I'm going to invest even more. I'm going to
get married. I'm going to buy a house. I'm going to have a computer. I'm going to have clients, and then I'm going to have clients on the side.
I'm going to do it all. And here's what's happened. You're just going to have a bigger collapse because at the end of the day, you got to pay the piper, which is you got to heal. And so it's not getting over this particular mental block. It's healing your body, and it is healing your approach to how you do life. Now, some of the pushback I get on this, Dave, dude, there's a lot of problems in the world, and we need some really great attorneys out there. And we need some great, innovative people that need to work really hard for over a long period of time. I want people to be ambitious, to work really hard, but I want people to know that that's not going to solve you. Healing and relationships and running hard can all be done at the same time.
Well, as you say in one of your talks, winning does not make you well.
That's right. So you can get all the
win
toys.
The Super Bowl, and you still have to go home with you.
There you go. And you cross the finish line, and then you look around and go, for what? Right? For what? And so, Jose, here's what I want you to do, man. Yes, you need to spend some money. And so right now you're going to need some discipline. You're going to have to change your identity, and we've talked about that. You have to change who you see yourself as. Right now you see yourself as this frugal guy who's a planner, and you got to change your identity, brother, and you got to be somebody who is generous and who enjoys life, and you don't know how to do that, so you got to practice it. And I want you to begin healing from this anxiety, because this has been a long time coming. My guess is living at home with mom may not be the best thing for you right now, and so that may be step one of practicing this, is getting your own place. Even paying rent, which is going to slow down your down payment, and I'm good with that. But that's a lot of me reading into somebody that I've never talked to before. What do you think, Dave?
Yeah, I'm reading in. I mean, I believe in hard work. I believe in getting it. I do pretty much.
Yeah, I do too.
I do pretty much everything wide open. But I have learned to get a little rhythm where there's some margin, and I have a moment where I just sit and breathe. Mm-hmm. And I don't have to do it for 2 hours every day, but I have to do it every so often. I mean, Sunday's a good time, as an example. There's a reason for a Sabbath, right? And so you need some rhythm where you just breathe. Yeah. Where you just sit and breathe. And not churn, which means you don't have any screens in front of you while you're breathing. Screens don't help you breathe. And news channels for sure don't help you breathe. No. So,
but my time with you, Dave, as hard as you run, and I'm similar. I love going hard. I love going I like just getting it done and getting it done. I've never got a sense from you that if I win over here and I increase my net worth, that my employees are all going to be well, my leadership team is going to be great, and my marriage is going to be perfect. You invest equally in, I got to make sure we're having these conversations. I got to make sure we say this again, and we say it again, and we say it again. We're training these people. So this is awesome, and it's important, and it's not the end-all, be-all, right? Yeah.
I mean, there's a difference between frying yourself out and working hard.
That's exactly, I love that.
That's what it comes down to, and it has to do with the margin and the rhythm, and some Sabbath and the peace. You need to have a time where you consciously realize ever so often, and it's not once a year, but it's not once a day necessarily, but where you consciously breathe in and you just feel peace for a second. which means nothing's bothering you for a second.
Yeah.
There'll be plenty to bother you later. Don't worry about it. It'll come around. but I mean, you just, because that what that is what we're discovering. And Craig Groeschel and I were talking about this on his leadership podcast a little while back. That one of the things we're discovering is that during the pandemic, those of us that were doing business during the quarantines and the shutdowns and the economic disruption and the alien invader called Fauci and all of these things. I think he was actually why they were doing those alien testimonies before Senate. But I think he's actually an alien.
I'm going to personally invite him down.
But yeah, but he does. Well, anyway, in the middle of all that, we were like, we're going to get through this. Hold your breath. Grit your teeth, push through. We're going to fight through. We're going to survive this thing. We're not going to lose everything. We're going to do what it takes. We're going to be proactive and frenetic if we need to. And what Craig and I were talking about was it just burnt everybody down to their last fuse.
There you go.
And instead of just getting back to normal, before you can get back to any kind of version of normal, you got to fill the tank back up because you drained it to nothing. A bunch of us. Right. I was going to say you, but I did. Yeah, I did that too. And I started talking to Craig. Craig and I started talking about that. He's one of the best leaders I know. One of the largest churches in America. He's a wonderful pastor. And we were talking about this just over dinner back about 6 or 8 months ago. And ever since then, I went, okay, I got to make sure I'm filling the tank back up. And just make a conscious effort, because if you're just running on constant gear on gear with no oil, you just fry the thing out, dude. So that's what's going on here, Jose. That'll help you do this. That'll help you relax, and then you'll spend money. This is The Ramsey Show. Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey personality, #1 best-selling author of the book Own Your Past, Change Your Future, is my co-host today. Heather's in Cincinnati. Hi, Heather. How are you?
Hi. How are you?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
I wanted to call in and see. I've accumulated debt over the years, and I'm over the age of 50, and I'm trying to get financial peace. But one of the holdups of me going through with your program is that I just feel like it's too late in my life to actually be able to pay off all my debt and then be able to accumulate enough money for retirement.
Oh, absolutely. You're completely ancient. You're so old. There's no chance you're going to make it. What are you talking about, girl? There's nothing in our stuff told you were too old. I'm 61, for God's sake. I can still make it.
That's old. You're not old.
I just feel like I've had so many things like just dangling on my life with debt that I've never been able to just get paid off, and I want to get it.
Well, that's most
paid
people.
off, and I want to be able to do it.
That's most people. How much debt have you got?
How much do you owe?
I've got about 85 in student loans between my husband and I. My husband's 68, and then I have 12,000 in IRS and some car loans. And then we still have
How
our
much
mortgage,
on car
which is
loans?
financed to 15. About I was trying to figure that out. About 24, I think.
Okay. And what's your household income?
No, I'm sorry. It's 18. 18. I'm sorry. Household income. I bring in 90. My husband is retired, so he's bringing in about $1,500 a month plus $300 a week for a part-time job.
Okay. So he's bringing in about 30. Okay. So you got like 120 to work with. You owe 85, 12 to the IRS, and 18,000.
What kind of student loans does he have at 68 years old?
We went through a bad time. He had a heart issue, and so we ended up going where he had to put him on suspension or whatever, and so they've just been sitting out there. But he went back to school late in life. He went back around 55.
Okay.
To get his master's degree.
What did he retire from?
Facility management.
Okay. Any chance he could go back to work? For 2 years? Is
for
he
2 years.
is he physically able?
Physically, probably, but just not mentally. I don't think he would mentally want to do that. But
I didn't ask if he wanted
Want to? I don't care about want.
I don't want to be
Yeah.
$85,000 in debt when I'm 68 years old and I got a 51-year-old wife. I'm getting ready to leave saddled with this mess. Yeah.
Hey,
yeah,
Heather, how I just got to. You are real close, if not already crossed over that line from being frustrated and burned out to resentment, aren't you?
well, I don't know that I'm resentful. It's just I'm nervous that we've got a lot here that we need to pay off, and I just don't. It's going to be difficult.
It is, but you rolling this out and you making 90,000 and him making 30 and him, I don't know, he's not going to want to.
All right. So here's the deal. Okay. You can do this on 110. And if we say 85 and 30 is
120, huh?
125, right? Yeah. Okay. So how fast do you pay off 125 making 120? Well, if you lived on 60,000, you would do it in 2 years and some change. If you live on more than that, it's going to take you 3 years and some change. But you're going to have no life for the next 3 years. My personal recommendation would be that Bubba go back to work during that time, whether he wants to or not, for 2 years, and you guys clean it all up in 2 years and throw $50,000 in the bank at the end of the 2 years. He's 70, you're 53, you're debt free with 50 grand in the bank. But the faster you do this and the more harsh circumstances you put your life in so that you have extra money to throw at this, meaning harsh, meaning he goes back to work he didn't want to, you guys have absolutely no freaking life. I'm talking drop an atomic bomb on your lifestyle. Don't talk to me about going on vacation. Well, I'm retired. Well, kiss my butt. You're broke. Okay? And so, not a chance here. You got to get after this, and both of you got to get after this. And it sounds like he's emotionally in coast mode, and you're in freak-out worried mode. You're ready to go frenetic on this and go crazy, and you're afraid you're going to have to drag him. That's what I think I'm hearing between the lines. Am I reading that wrong?
Well, he's agreed to do the program with me because I did talk to him about it. He's agreed to do whatever.
Until he found out the program meant he was going back to work.
Until he found that out. Correct. We haven't talked about that. That probably will change things in here.
Well, if he gets really enthused about what this will do for you, and he wants to do this as an offer of service to his wife, he'll find some energy to go do some of these things. I don't know exactly what that is, but he's got a master's degree, and I think he's got earning potential, and I think he's got a little gas left in the tank, and you're telling me that a lot of this mess is his or is related to him. It's your all's mess because you're married. Both of you are into this, but yeah, that's what I would do. So I can give you great hope to the extent that I can get both of you enthused, excited, on board, fired up so much that you're willing to sacrifice, and you put whatever you want to put in the bucket called sacrifice. But sacrifice means the income goes up and the outgo goes down, and the difference is thrown at this, and you can mathematically clean this up in 2 to 3 years. Prefer it to be 2 years with some money in the bank at the end of the story. So hang on, we're going to sign you up for Financial Peace University. We'll show you couples just like you two that have done this time and time again. Just do a little scrolling through the YouTube debt-free screams, and you'll find some couples just like you that are doing this, just like him, just like you, just like the two of you. And you can pull this off. But he needs to hear your heart on how worried you are that he's going to die and leave you with this. Because that's under all this. It's freaking you out, and really it kind of should be.
Yeah.
I don't want you to be completely freaked out, but I want you to be worried enough to do something about it.
I would love to see you go to a coffee shop by yourself and write down, what do I need right now? Like, what do I need from my husband? And it might be that y'all have never sat down and had that direct of a conversation. And I need you to plug in on this because I need to be free from underneath all of this debt. And I think we're getting part of the story here, Dave, but you got an IRS here. This is a big, long. You got a heart attack, heart issues along the way. There's been a lot of stuff going on here, man. And so I would love to see Heather. I'd love to see you write your needs down and then go sit down with your husband and say them out loud.
Hang on, we'll pick up, and Austin will pick up in there and get you guys signed up for Ramsey Plus for the Financial Peace University and get you going. We'll try to help you. Call in anytime. We'll walk with you, but we're going to tell you the truth. We're going to be blunt. You can tell that. All right, William's with us in Dallas. Hi, William. How are you?
I'm good, sir.
Good.
How are you?
Better than I deserve. How can we help?
So I am my wife and I have been working on your baby steps. I'm in a position where I can make a gigantic leap into a different job. I have interviewed for the job. He called me the same day I applied for it. I interviewed for it. He gave me pretty much a huge rundown of the whole company and everything like that. And I've gone back up there and asked and just kind of stuck my head in his office and said, hey, I'm still interested. If you hear anything, let me know. That was 2 weeks ago.
Oh, it's inside your current company?
No, it's not inside my current company.
So you just dropped in, stuck your head in his office? It was a small business?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Approximately 15 people work there.
Okay. Do it again, and this time ask him when he's planning to make a decision.
Okay.
Would it be better in person or email?
In person. Yeah. Person's always better.
Yeah.
What date do you plan? Because otherwise, I need to know, because if I need to look for something else, you tell me. It's okay. I just need to know what's going on. I don't want to pester you, but I want to be professional enough to follow up. And by what date do you plan on doing this deal or not doing this deal? And if it's not me, just let me know. It's okay. And, he'll appreciate that directness if he's a small business guy. He's gotten too busy and he hadn't followed up, and he's dropping the ball. This is The Ramsey Show. Joining us, America, Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host. Roxanne's in Portland. Hi, Roxanne. What's up?
Hi, Dave. I am doing pretty good. I'm calling with a question about baby step 4. My husband and I are just starting this part of our journey, and I'm wondering if I should max out my 401k or meet my match from my employer and max out my Roth IRAs as well.
401k available as a Roth?
It's not a Roth, it's a traditional.
Is it available as a Roth? They don't offer that at your office.
Correct.
Okay. All right. There's a rule of thumb, okay? Mathematically, match beats Roth beats traditional.
Okay.
So what that would tell you to do, I think, in your situation, are you married?
I am.
Okay.
So I would do my match.
It still gets more complicated then, because we're doing this as a household with both of your offerings, not just you as a single person, because you're not a single person. So as a household, because you can, name him as your beneficiary, he can name you as his beneficiary. What's yours is mine, mine is yours in divorce court anyway when it comes to retirement accounts. So all that to say, you're perfectly safe and perfectly fine for it to be heavier in one name or the other. Does he have a 401k?
He does not, and he does not have access to one.
Okay.
He is a small business owner.
Perfect. Okay. Does he have employees?
He does not.
Okay, very easy. All right, so he has a SEP available to him, a Simplified Employee Pension Plan, or a simple IRA, which is a 401k for small business, and he has a traditional individual Roth IRA available to him. So rule of thumb, and all of those are available as Roths, by the way. So Roth beats traditional, but match beats everything. So if we take your total household income, 15% of that total income is your baby step 4 contribution. Turn that into an actual dollar amount. And let's just make that up. Let's just call that $25,000 is 15% of your income. What is your income, by the way? Household.
Between the two of us, $120,000.
Gosh, I got pretty close. Okay, so $18,000. Okay, is your 15% of your situation. All right, so let's call it 18. And how much is your match?
My match is half of 6%, so 3%.
3% if you put in 6?
Correct.
Okay, so you're going to put in 6. What do you make?
I make about $100,000.
He makes $20,000 at his small business?
He plays music for a living.
Not much.
He plays, yes, anyway.
I was going to say, I bet he plays a ton to still even make that much.
He plays a ton.
Yeah,
he does. Yeah.
Okay. Whole nother discussion. All right, so we're trying to get to 18,000. You make 100,000. You're going to put in 6,000 in order to get that 3% match. All right?
Okay.
You follow me?
Yep.
All right, we're trying to get to 18, so we still need to do 12. So if we did 2 Roth IRAs at 6 each, one in each of your names, you'd be fine.
Great. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah, you would get there and sit down with a SmartVestor Pro, and they'll help you pick out some good mutual funds. We always recommend spreading your investing across 4 types of mutual funds: growth and income, aggressive growth, and international. But Dave, have you looked at the stock market? My 401k is a 201k. What is wrong with you? Well, here's what's an interesting thing. CNBC just printed this out. Nearly 40% of investors who pulled money out of markets in the last year regretted it. Oh, so you figured out that when you pull money out of the market that it's a dumb idea because you usually pull it out when it's down. So you bought high and sold low. That's kind of the opposite of what you ought to be doing. All right. Well, the stock market is crashing, Dave. Don't you know? Yeah, I do know. I just pulled it up just a second ago. Let me just tell you what it says today. Let's see here. Today, the stock market is down in the past 12 months, day over day, 12 exact months, 7.5%. That is not crashing. Bitcoin is down 52%. That is crashing.
That's a train wreck.
Okay? That's a train over the mountain in a black and white film wreck. Okay? But the 7.5% is not your 401k became a 201k. You didn't lose all your money. Now, it's down from, let's see, the high point's January the 4th. It looks like 36,000, almost 37,000 Dow, and the Dow's down around 31 right now. So it's down more than 7.5% since January. But over the last 12 months, it's down 7.5%. That's not exactly a crash. It's not good. I'd rather it be up 17%. I'm not happy about that, but it's not exactly reason for you to panic. Time is the ultimate weapon when it comes to investing, said Matt Schultz, the chief credit analyst at LendingTree. Gives younger investors a huge advantage over their older counterparts. Unfortunately, however, Gen Z and millennials risk squandering that advantage if they pull their money out of the market when times get tough. Well, let me just help you with this, Matt. All of you are stupid when you pull your money out of the market when it gets tough. You don't have to be Gen Z. You can be 50, 60, 70 years old, and you just go, oh, God, and you sell low. That's just the worst possible time to sell it. Ride the wave. Trust that better times are ahead, this quote says. And I agree with that. Ride the wave. So my quote always is, no one gets hurt on a roller coaster except those that jump off in the middle. But here's an interesting thing. Some 38% of investors said they sold stocks last year due to a current event like extreme inflation, Ukraine, whatever, according to a study from Magnify Money. Of that group, 40% said they wish they hadn't done it. The online survey of more than 1,000 U.S. consumers was conducted on April 15th.
And the other 60% just...
wouldn't admit it.
Yeah, they haven't seen it.
They still haven't looked at it. They still haven't looked at it. Because here's an interesting thing with the fear that happens there. We've talked about this before, where there's psychological studies done that say you have to gain $3 to feel like you broke even with a $1 loss. Losses have more impact on your psychology than gain does.
Right.
More negative impact than gain does positive impact.
Right.
And so, in other words, we all like we all are negative ninnies at our soul in some sense, And so the thing that goes with that then is this idea that then they add a narrative to it when they get out that is hyperbole, that's not true.
That's exactly right.
Okay, so they say things like, well, back in 1987, Black Monday, I lost everything in the stock market. What do you been listening to your grandfather from the Great Depression? You didn't lose everything. The stock market didn't go to zero. You had the money in mutual funds and it went down 25% in one day. But it didn't go to zero. It was a cataclysmic event. It was not a good day, but it didn't go to zero. And so you didn't lose everything. What happened was you pulled your money out at the bottom and you felt really stupid because you were stupid for doing that. And then you had to make up this story that made it sound like the stock market is the villain.
Right, and that you just got off on a lifeboat just in time.
Yeah. Well, and it was just, it's not, you don't put money in there because I lost everything back in the day or whatever. I had all my money and got to zero. And no, it didn't. It's mathematically impossible. Unless you had all your money in a single company and that company went completely broke and was liquidated and they had no assets and the Chapter 7 bankruptcy trustee couldn't sell the assets and get a dime because that would have been distributed to the stockholders. So, I mean, this is almost physically impossible for you to get absolutely zero.
Right.
Now, I lost a lot.
Yeah.
Or I lost an amount that made me feel really scared. These are accurate statements.
Yep.
But we have to add to this somehow to put a stake in the ground to somehow
we have to create a story
to offset the fact that we know this was a bad idea.
That's right. And nearly 70% of Gen Z investors pulled money. 70%, 7 out of 10. They have only known this bull run for the last few years, and they don't know the roller coaster goes down ever, right? So here we are.
Wait a minute, it goes down too? Who knew?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So ride it out.
I gotta get out.
Ride it out.
This is exactly the wrong time to sell. Oh, by the way, the market's down. That means it's on sale. This is the time to buy. It's not the time to sell. This is the Ramsey Show. Dave here. You can find all of our shows with the Ramsey Network app on your smartphone. It's the only place to listen to the entire back catalog of episodes. Download the Ramsey Network app in your favorite app store today. This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, it's The Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. This is a show where we help people build wealth, do work that they love, and create amazing relationships. Thank you for joining us. This is also a Baby Steps Millionaire theme hour where we're going to talk to real millionaires and find out how they really did it, not someone that's broke with an opinion or a political agenda. Because there's a lot of people out there running their mouth about where wealth comes from. It's always inherited, which is absolutely statistically data-based bogus. So we're going to talk about this stuff. We're going to talk to real millionaires. A millionaire is someone with a $1 million net worth. There is no other definition. Making $1 million income does not make you a millionaire. Making a $2 million income does not make you a millionaire. It could help you get there, but $1 million net worth is the only true definition of a millionaire. $1 million net worth or greater. Your net worth is defined as your assets minus your liabilities. Not income producing, just assets. If they don't produce an income, they're still an asset. If you can sell it and turn it into money, it's an asset. Now, a lot of people argue about what you can count in that or can't count in that. Listen, if it's an asset and you can sell it, you can count it. whatever it is. You got a stamp collection. It's an asset. You could sell it and turn it into money. So assets minus liabilities. What you own minus what you owe equals $1 million or greater, then you are a millionaire. Sanjeev starts us off on this millionaire theme hour in Greensboro, North Carolina. Sanjeev, what's your net worth?
So right now about 1.15.
1.15. Okay. Give me a little breakdown on that. How's that invested, or how did you get to $1.15 million?
Sure. About home worth about 460 to 500, depending on the day of the week, and rest of it is in stock market and retirement funds and rainy day money and so on and so forth. About 670 or 1,000 in that.
Okay, all right, pretty simple. Okay, how old are you? I
am 64 this month.
64.
Yes, sir. My wife is 62.
Okay.
And I need to bring something to your notice that we only came to the United States in 1994. And that year, only I was allowed to work. And I was making a whole of $18,000 a year with 4 mouths to feed, 2 young children, my wife and I.
And you came with no wealth with you?
$10,000 that we had saved while working in Dubai.
Wow! So you're from Dubai. Okay, and what is your?
I'm an Indian.
Okay.
I'm an Indian, but I was working in Dubai.
Oh, okay, all right. And so, what has been your career?
Both of us are graduates from hotel school, so we are in the service industry. I've also taught some at UNCG, hospitality courses, and one of my catch lines is. We got into hotel school because we were not good enough to get into med schools or engineering colleges. However, we are doctors of ego because we brush everybody's ego and make them happy, and that makes us money.
Oh, gosh, what a burn, dude. Who's that? That's fantastic,
man.
That's
great. I like that. Got a PhD in ego. Somebody else's. Okay. That's very good.
Yes, sir.
So, what was the driving force? Why did you want to come to the U.S.?
It was just a chance that we took. We had no plans. We had no great goals about this is the best country to be in, so on and so forth. It's just something that happened. And I had a job opportunity come up, and I just decided let's try it. We are young. We can take the risk. If we fail, India is great. We can always go back. And that's how we ended up here. Because even at that point in time, we had no debt. We had nothing to worry about in terms of life that way. Children were very young, and children adopt and adapt to the situation very, very well. And they're all doing. Both the kids are doing well. And
so, what do you attribute? When you look back on it, you say, "Okay, I was able to become a millionaire because fill in the blank." Why?
Primary, my wife and I, we work together hand in hand always, and we live within our means. Just recently, my 95-year-old mother had a stroke in India, and we had to travel at a short notice. We didn't have to finance that ticket. We just decided we have to go. We got vacation from our respective jobs because we are so loyal and so working all the time. Anytime we ask for something, we just get it. Though I was in business for some time too, I've decided to come back into employment, and because that works best for my personality, I think.
So the data that I've seen, that if someone comes to America from another country legally, that they are 4 times more likely to become a millionaire than one of us that was born here.
I think you're right, sir. And in no software, my wife and I did it, of course. But without your talks and your guidance, it would have been a much tougher task to achieve. And of course, working together with the spouse, and then the other aspect is not having multiple spouses. It's very, very important in life.
Marriage is grand, divorce is 50 grand. That's what you're saying. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Oh, too fun. So what would be your theory as to why someone who immigrates legally is more likely to build wealth than one of us that was born here? I've got my theory, but I'm curious what you think.
I think we come here because we want to achieve something. We want to prove it to ourselves and our families back home that we can do it. It's not just that we are whatever we have achieved, but at the same time also people who come here from such lands like India or Southeast Asia, it's a very poor part of the world. But not all of us there are poor either. But people who come here are highly educated. That's why you will see so many PhDs and MDs are from India or Pakistan or Southeast Asian countries. So they are highly well educated. And then they come here and they have already learned the basics of economics. Most of their parents were living within their means. We never carried a debt per se. And earlier in our life, when my wife was a homemaker, we never ever hired a babysitter.
Wow. Game on. Honored to speak with you, sir.
What a blessing, man.
That's
good for
fun.
you, son.
That's very well done. 1.15 million. It's a Baby Steps Millionaire theme hour. I've laughed a lot over the years at how people have tried to call me in Ramsey Solutions an overnight success. Yeah, you work your butt off for 30 years, you're an overnight success. One of the things we did many years ago was we were trying to communicate to our team that, what happens is the things that you do in business and leadership, in your life for that matter, there's a cumulative effect of them. They begin to build up, and then suddenly there's a breakthrough, and it appears to be suddenly, and it's not suddenly, it's the accumulation of a work of a lot of years. You don't suddenly get a great marriage. You don't suddenly raise great kids. You don't suddenly become a success. And if you do, it very seldom lasts. So we developed a thing called the momentum theorem to communicate to our team that there's focused intensity over time multiplied by God equals unstoppable momentum. It's a great marketing principle. It's a great principle for any area of your life. And I've taught it now for years in EntreLeadership and other leadership settings. It's a talk that I do periodically on how that works and what it is. And our team decided that we needed to put that into a Ramsey quick read, which is the little short books. They're basically a chapter, not a book. And so I wrote the little book, the description of the momentum theorem. We put a big cover on it and made a big deal about it. And John, not much there.
But there's a lot there.
It's pretty thin.
Right.
I mean, you've been making fun of redefining anxiety about being a pamphlet.
Yeah, that's like an encyclopedia compared to your book.
That thing's a tome compared to this 41-page Pulitzer Prize winning event here. But I'll tell you what, the information in it I will stand by, and I will tell you it's worth $10. Okay, because if you get one good idea out of something, it's worth $10, and it's 41 pages, so you can read it in 6-8 minutes. It's really thin.
But hey, I'll tell you this though, the feedback I'm continuing to receive all over the country about redefining anxiety is so-and-so wouldn't read. The people on my team don't like reading big books. They don't like complicated stuff. My college student didn't like to read. And so it's reaching a group of people who need something. I need to digest this and own it now.
Tonight.
And that's
tonight.
perfect. Tonight.
In one setting.
Yes.
I'm not going to read a book in 8 settings.
That's right. Yeah. So I think those smaller books are a gift.
This might suck someone into actually becoming a reader.
It's
you
exactly
never know.
right, yeah.
Because it's a whole 41 pages. Yeah. It's on sale at $10 at RamseySolutions.com. And the scary thing is we put it up for sale Monday and it's selling like crazy.
Of course it is. Yes. It's fantastic.
It's so funny. Oh, and I'm not dissing you guys for buying it. I'm glad you bought it. Thank you. I appreciate that. And it is worth $10. It's just humorous to me that I wrote a book that's a pamphlet. So, so there you go. And I've been listening to you make fun of that one for years, and since you wrote it, and I always thought, oh, come on, John, it's a legitimate piece of work. It is, because it is a legitimate piece of work. And then I do one that's even thinner. So there you go.
What's going to be great is at the end of the year when we do the end of the year sales numbers, and
it beats
they're
everything.
going to tell you
Beats
momentum
everything.
theorem crushed Baby Steps Millionaires.
Now I'm going to be pissed. Yeah. I don't want to hear that at all. Oh, my gosh. All right, it is a Baby Steps Millionaires theme hour. We're talking to real millionaires. Joe is next on the line in St. Louis. Joe, what's your net worth?
$2 million.
Good for you. Give me a little breakdown on that by category.
So $1.5 million is in my 401k and mutual funds. I have some stock grants, and the rest, $500k, is in house and cars.
Okay, perfect. That was easy. All right, how old are you?
I am 55.
Cool. How much of this did you inherit?
0.
Okay. What was your best household income working year and your worst household income working year?
I started out making $17,500, and funny thing is, I called you 30 years ago.
No way.
Yes, I lived in Nashville, Tennessee. Called you 30 years ago. I was a pretty typical college student. Got out of college, got married, bought a brand new car, got credit card debt, and called you. And you gave me great advice.
I was probably nicer then.
Nah, yeah, you were nice, but you were stern.
Okay.
You told me to get on a budget, put money away in my emergency fund, and then start stuffing money and maximizing my 401k, and that's what I did. And 30 years later, I'll tell you, Dave, it hasn't been a perfect ride, but I got here.
Yeah.
Made mistakes along the way, but every time I made mistakes, I got right back into the program and got back to my budget, got back to everything that you teach.
Wow. I'm proud of you. Very
That's awesome,
cool.
dude. Good
well
for you,
done.
man.
30 years and you're worth a couple $1 million. Very good. So what's been your career?
I majored in computer science in college, and so I've been in technology ever since.
Okay, cool.
What was your highest income earning year?
Probably last year, and with salary and stock option or stock grants, it was about $250.
Good for you. Well done. Not bad from 17.5. Yeah, very cool.
Absolutely.
Okay, if you're going to look back and you're talking to Joe like I did 30 years ago, the 30 year ago version of Joe, 25 years old, what would you tell him you attribute the $2 million to? How do you get there? What should he do? What do you say? I did this and it worked.
So I would say, I got debt free and I stayed debt free. And then when I slipped, I got back and I worked hard to get debt free. And then maximizing my 401k. I'll tell you, I married the right person. I married a beautiful, intelligent, financially responsible Christian wife with 5 wonderful kids, 2 of which are now on a budget, just like you taught me 30 years ago, and building up their emergency fund and maximizing their 401ks. The mistakes I made along the way, I didn't save enough for college. I have 5 kids, and I totally underestimated how much it would be for college. So I would definitely focus there if I started over 30 years ago, and I would have saved earlier and I would have saved more.
Yeah. Wow. Well done, Joe. Proud of you, man. Great job. Very good job. Rick is in Wilmington, North Carolina. Rick, what's your net worth?
Dave, my net worth is approximately $2.75 million at the moment.
Good for you.
Way to go, Rick.
Cool. Give me a little breakdown on that by category.
We have about 1.6 in 2 homes we own. We have 1.3 in mutual funds, stock accounts, and then the balance is in 401k and IRA.
Okay.
And a little cash on the side too, about $100,000 in cash.
Gotcha. Okay. Wow. Good for you. Okay.
Thanks.
Very good. How old are you?
67 years.
Good. And how much of this 2.75 did you inherit?
None.
Zero.
I will caveat that my dad did leave me $20,000 when he passed away, which we used to retire debt. We had some credit card debt at the time, and so we've been debt free other than mortgage and cars since that time.
But safe to say you're not a millionaire because of inherited money. Yeah. Okay.
No, it's not. I love my dad, and it gave me a great step forward, but not the reason we're here.
Sure. And your range of income, best year and worst year?
Probably my worst years were, $25,000 back in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
My best year was 2020 when I made $2.2 million.
Oh, that's helpful. Okay. What was your career?
I work in security, internet security, authentication, authorization, and I caught a ride on a fast-moving rocket ship and did quite well.
Yeah, that sounds like it. Congratulations. Well done. So I assume your degree is in technology?
My degree is in the School of Hard Knocks, Dave.
Oh, okay.
I went to college several times, but never got a degree and learned technology. I went to technical school to learn technology because that's where the money was in the 90s when I was broken and hurting.
So you tech students, he doesn't have a 4-year degree in information systems. He has certs from going to school. Just made $2.2 million. Just letting everybody know how this works, okay? Wow. Good job, Rick. Well done, sir. This is The Ramsey Show. Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. I don't know whether it was in the name of victimology or whether it was in the name of whining or whether it was in the name of evil political intent, whether it was in the name of the spread of communism, but somewhere out there, for whatever reason, whatever the motivation was, began this narrative that is absolutely false about where wealth comes from. It's a lie. All rich people have inherited their money. Now, of course, the underlying statement that says is that if you don't have a rich uncle, you're screwed. So no need to work hard, no need to save your money, no need to invest, because the real method of building wealth is to inherit money. And so the system is broken, and so the rich people should have all the money taken away from them and given to the common people. That's a very communistic, socialistic underlying message. And the interesting thing is it's based on an absolute statistical lie. We did the largest study of millionaires ever done in North America. My friend Tom Stanley, who passed away a few years ago, his daughter Sarah still does research for the book The Millionaire Next Door. It came out in 1992, 30 years ago. 30 years ago. And, and he did a study of 750 millionaires, and he was always criticized for the sample size. John and I have done enough research and have studied enough bodies of research to know that 750 is statistically significant, but most people in the press don't understand that, and people with a political agenda go, well, you didn't study real millionaires, you just picked out the 750 you wanted and had confirmation bias, and it just wasn't true. It was a solid study. But we decided to do a similar study 30 years later, and we said, hey, we know 750 is statistically significant, but let's do tenfold. Let's do 7,500 just to shut up the whiners. And we got carried away. We ended up studying over 10,000 millionaires. Here's what we found. 79% of America's millionaires, the largest study ever done, airtight research, no confirmation bias, research company looking over our shoulder to make sure it's right, because I knew some of you would bitch, moan, and whine when I did it. And so when we knew you were going to be out there, we knew you weren't going to like what we found, because we know these people. We work with them every day, and we knew who they were. And so, anyway, what ended up happening was 79% inherited precisely zero. 5% did inherit money, but it was an insignificant amount, like $20,000, $5,000, something like that, which is not enough mathematically to make you a millionaire unless you start when you're 1 year old, and then it still won't make you a millionaire. So they didn't inherit enough to become millionaires, or another 5% did inherit substantial money, like a $250,000 inheritance or something like that, after they were already millionaires. And so, of course, that did not make them millionaires. So 79 zero, 79 small, 79 large after, or 79 zero, 5% were small, 5% large, but after, that's 10% plus 79 is 89. That's 9 out of 10 of America's millionaires did not become millionaires because of an inheritance.
Okay, let me push on the next question then. So I'm sitting in my sociology class and I hear that and I say, okay, so they didn't get money, but they all were able to pay cash for brain surgery med school for all these brain surgeons that all became millionaires.
No. They actually didn't. 1/3 of them, 33% of them, never made over $100,000. And so, the top 5 professions were engineer, accountant, teacher, manager, and lawyer. Doctors didn't even make the top 5 of the professions that we studied.
And I was being sarcastic, but,
I know,
at the end of the day, this idea that to become a millionaire, you got to make $1 million a year.
Yeah, well, you've got privilege.
Right.
You know, you got class privilege, or you've got race privilege,
or education privilege. Yeah.
That said, you got a head start.
Yeah.
We studied the people we found. They had all kinds of different starting lines.
Yeah.
The only thing is they all had the same finish line.
Yep.
And all race demographics, all age demographics, all regional demographics. We couldn't find anything that said if you live in this area or if you are this color, you are more likely. Now, we did find whites were more likely statistically on average, but not to where you could say, you know, race is a sufficient blocker. The numbers weren't there. Plenty of African Americans, plenty of Asians, plenty of Latinos becoming millionaires. It was really not, that was not the correlating thing. The correlating thing was what they did, that they found a system, a process, and they followed it.
So
they believed they could do it.
Help me with this, because I've led organizations, I led teams. I want to communicate to the people that worked for me that they can do anything, because that helps the system. What is the political motivation behind trying to convince people that you are powerless? I don't understand that as a leader. It doesn't compute for me, because then I get a team that.
Well, if you're dependent on the government for your answers, then you're waiting on them to give you something, and the ones that give you something are the ones you vote for. You know, and so, that's why we just tell people all the time, you know, what happens in your house is so much more important than what happens in the White House. And so if you're waiting on the Alzheimer's patient in charge to get you out of this, you're screwed.
I hate that idea that we're just telling generations of people you can't make it.
That's why I did this. That's why, because it made the hope stealers are out there.
Yeah,
they're stealing people's hope, and it made me angry.
Yeah.
And I also was running into these baby steps millionaires everywhere, like that guy that called earlier. And he said, I started 30 years ago. I called you, and you told me to get rid of my car and get on a budget. And here I am 30 years later with $2 million net worth. I'm a baby steps millionaire. I followed the baby steps. And, oh, by the way, my kids are on the same track now. So it's generational change, you know.
Or Sanjeev reminds me of the international students I used to work with that came and just their eyes would light up and say, look at all of the opportunity. What are you doing? Work hard.
We had
Go.
We had a kid from Czechoslovakia that worked here years ago. It just killed me. It's so funny. He was working on his MBA, and he quit to go to college. in another location. And he emailed me about 3 weeks later, and he goes, I needed money for my tuition. I couldn't figure out what to do. And he said, I went to a garage sale, and it was a Nike shoe sales guy, and he had all the samples. And he said, I bought an entire garage of shoes for like $200. And he said, I just finished selling them all on eBay for $34,000.
Good grief.
I'm going to college. What a country. And he like, what a country, you know, like a classic line, you know, because he's like, there's so much abundance here and everybody's standing around. And he went to a garage sale, made one transaction and then another 100 transactions on eBay and goes to college. What a country.
You're right.
You know, but instead we tell people, oh no, you got to wait on Biden bucks. Because you're just screwed if you don't know the government's going to get you out. And that's really the underlying evil of people stealing people's hope.
Yeah.
And that's why we do the baby steps
disempowering
theme hour. You don't have to be famous. You don't have to be an athlete. You don't have to be a rock star. Less than 1% of millionaires have recognizable household names. And you don't have to be a high GPA. We find the average GPA is slightly above 3. And now we don't find 1.5. I mean, you do have to have some gray matter to be able to pull this off. You got to have a brain, okay? Dumb doesn't work, all right? So, but also you don't have to be a 4.2, you know, and I'm not a, you know, I graduated, thank you, Lottie, okay? So that's, you know, that's what you're after here. So, you know, the thing is you say, okay, what do I attribute this to? And the first two said, I'm debt-free, my 401k, live on less than I make, unified with my spouse. The stuff we teach around here every day. And that's the baby steps millionaires. And that's what these people are. And they're every age, every location. And the moral of the story is you can do it too. And we're going to talk to a couple more before we wrap this particular hour up. So don't you dare go anywhere. This is The Ramsey Show. Scripture of the day, Joshua 1:8. Keep this book of the law always on your lips. Meditate on it day and night so that you may be careful to do everything written in it. Then you will be prosperous and successful. Joe DiMaggio said a person always doing his or her best becomes a natural leader just by example. It's a Baby Steps Millionaire theme hour. Roger and Kim are with us in Columbus, Ohio. Hey, guys, what's your net worth?
Right around $2 million, Dave.
Cool. Give me a little breakdown on that.
We got 1.3 in 401ks. We got 60K in Roth, 260 cash, $350,000 paid for house, some company stock that's not vested, about 40K, and about 40K in paid for cars.
Cool. How old are you guys?
I am 59.
I'm 47.
Excellent. How much of this money did you inherit?
We inherited just about zero. In the last year, my dad gave me about 20K that came in from his estate, so that's about all we've got.
Cool. What's been the range of your working income? Best year and worst year?
We started out together at about 75K. Fortunately, Kim is a high wage earner, and we're at 318K now, and the average would have been about 150K.
Okay, cool. So what do you guys do for a living?
I work for a U.S.-based apparel retailer. I'm the head of sustainability.
Okay.
And I'm an over-the-road business-to-business sales rep.
The head of sustainability.
Yeah.
What does that mean? What do you do?
I manage all of our social, human rights, environmental, energy, and international community giving programs.
Oh, okay. Wow. It's a big company then. Okay. All right. Very cool. All right. So what are your all's degrees in?
My degree is in organizational communications.
Makes sense.
And I was a history major way back when.
Gotcha. Okay. All right, cool. So what do you attribute the fact that you have $2 million at 59 and 47 to?
Well, you know, it's funny, Dave. We have to say thank you, because what we did was we basically had nothing when we started out, and we went to your class around 2007, 2008-ish, and everything has grown from there. But it's been, just about, living your life with, not spending more than you make, taking care and being content with what you have. And that's where
following the baby steps.
Okay, cool. Very cool. It sounds like you guys were on the same page.
Yeah, that was helpful in that we're not big spenders. We're pretty content in life, and we didn't want to carry debt, and we want to retire early. So we had a plan.
Yeah, that you both were in agreement on, being on the same page. Yeah, that's a big deal. Big deal.
Yes.
What advice would you give to the...
Our kids...
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, I'm just saying we wanted to be out of debt before we put our kids through college, so they wouldn't have any debt coming out of college.
Very good. What advice would you give to the younger version of you?
I always say stay positive. My life motto has always been work hard, be true, and good things will happen to you, and that God is always good.
Amen. Well done. Good job, you guys. Congratulations. Thank you very much for sharing your story. Very good stuff. David is in Dallas. David, what's your net worth?
Hey there, Dave. My net worth is about 1.3 to 1.4, depending on the day these days.
Cool. That's the way it works. Yeah. All right. Give me a little breakdown on that by category.
Yeah, I have about $900K in real estate with $300K in debt against that, so net of $600. I have about $500,000 in 401K retirement accounts, and then I have around $2 to $3K in like cash and other like liquid type investments.
How old are you?
$100K in crypto. I'm 34 years old.
Okay. How much did you say was in crypto?
I have about $100K sitting there. Okay. I definitely didn't buy it for that, but it's there now. So
okay, cool. We bought it for less, I hope. Okay.
Oh yes, certainly. Yeah,
it's gone in half. So yeah, okay. All right. So how much of this did you inherit?
None of it.
Okay.
Thankfully.
All right. And what's been your working income? Your best year working income and worst year? Best and worst.
Best year is probably nowadays. I make between probably $200 to $300 a year, depending on the year, and bonuses and things like that. And then my worst year was probably right out of college. I made about $45K a year.
Cool. What do you do for a living?
I work in accounting, and then I have a few side hustles with rental income, and I sell some things online for eBay. Do like retail arbitrage type stuff. Little hobbies like that.
So you've got a degree in accounting, I assume?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. What was your GPA?
Around 3.8.
Okay.
But pretty sure the guy who writes my checks is less, so.
Ooh.
Shots fired.
All right, so.
Hey, me too, David. Me too. Just
kidding. Whoa, I don't know if I can recover from that one. So what do you...
they're doing better than both
Hey, just scroll, look at your bank balance compared to mine, and you'll be just fine.
You did this... you did this by 34, very young millionaire. What do you attribute that to?
Just consistent saving. I think when you look at like your 401k and retirement accounts, you can put $6,000 a year into an IRA, and you can put $19,000 a year into a 401k. And so if you just did that for 10 years, you'd have $250,000 basically stacked up. But you have to do it every year, I think, is the trick. So just consistency and making sure that you pay yourself first would be my best advice, I suppose.
Okay, very good. You think it can still be done today?
Yeah, it can. Not that it's not difficult. I think there's a lot of things that you see now for young people that are challenges that even I didn't have as a younger person. But that doesn't mean they're not navigable. I mean, there were new things for me as a young person that weren't around for my parents, and I'm sure there were things for them that weren't around for their parents. So there's always a way, but I think it's just having the determination and will to find it, and then to also listen to others and learn. And it's not always fun either. There are certainly sacrifices that have to be made and decisions that have to be made that are difficult. But
well, have you given up your quality of life at 34 in order to get here?
No, certainly not. And actually, even now, like I'm able to enjoy my life a lot more with the decisions that I'm able to make, and I feel like I have a lot more tools in my toolbox at this point that some of my friends who maybe didn't make the same decisions or just chose other paths maybe don't have. And I feel really, really lucky and blessed to have that. And I thank my past self for making the decisions that I did to set me up for where I am now. And so even now, as I make decisions in my 30s, I always have one foot kind of in the next decade. Like what would 40-year-old me be happy that 30-year-old me does?
Yeah.
And what's 30-year-old me happy that 20-year-old me does?
What a great way to live, man.
That's beautiful. Well thought out. Good job, David. Proud of you, man. Proud of you.
That to me is the key, Dave, is to ask yourself right now, this time next week, what choices will I be glad I made when it comes to eating and exercising and marriage, and then next year, and then 10 years from now, and 25 years, like what can I do right now to sow those seeds?
Yeah, it's the old Henry Cloud thing. What's your desired future?
Yeah,
and what has to be true to get to that desired future?
Yeah, starting now
and right now, and and the desired future can be Friday. But the longer your planning window, the more vision you have, the higher quality your life is going to be. So you have a better vision, a long-term vision for your marriage, a long-term vision for your kids, long-term vision. If you have a long-term vision for your kids, you're not raising great kids, you're raising kids to become great adults, as Andy Andrews says. It changes the way you do everything.
That's right.
When you start looking out past the cusp. It's good stuff. Dr. John Deloney, good show. James and Austin and Ben and Zach and Andrew and Kelly, great work. I am Dave Ramsey, your host. We'll be back with you before you know it. In the meantime, remember, there's ultimately only one way to financial peace, and that's to walk daily with the Prince of Peace, Christ Jesus.
Hey, it's John Deloney, co-host of The Ramsey Show. Did you know over 18 million people listen to The Ramsey Show every week? A lot of those people listen on one of our 600-plus radio stations across the country. To find a station near you, go to RamseySolutions.com/show.